Ever get that like, almost like a pang of hesitation when you're about to really put yourself out there?
Oh, absolutely.
Like you got this killer idea at work, but you're almost like terrified to share it because what if people just totally shoot it down?
Yeah.
We're diving deep into all of that today.
Yeah.
We're looking at vulnerability.
We're going to unpack why that scary feeling, that hesitation, might actually be the thing that unlocks, well, incredible things, I think, for all of us, both personally and professionally, right?
For sure. And you shared some really cool stuff with me. We've got like a Brene Brown interview, a really thought-provoking piece from Medium,
Yeah.
even a philosophical take from, of all places, School of Life.
I love it.
Yeah, they're great. So let's dig into this whole idea of vulnerability because it seems so counterintuitive. Like we're always told,
Confident.
yeah, be confident, fake it till you make it.
Project that, yeah.
Exactly. But these sources are saying, well, maybe leaning into vulnerability in the right way, of course, could be the key to stronger leadership, deep connections with people.
For connection, yeah.
And even those aha moments, those innovations.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's funny because we often think about vulnerability as this weakness.
Totally.
When it's actually, I think, a sign of courage. Like, it's that willingness to kind of step outside that comfort zone, right?
Oh, 100%. And I'm thinking about that Brene Brown interview. She talks about how you can't have courage without vulnerability. And it's not just about, like, personal growth. She links it directly to business, to innovation.
Oh, for sure.
Which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah, and I think it's because innovation requires risk.
Yes.
And what is embracing the possibility of things not going as planned.
Failure.
But that's vulnerability in action.
That's such a good point. It's like, the fear of public speaking that so many of us have.
Oh, the worst.
Right. Like, it can be paralyzing.
It can be crippling.
Totally. But what if we reframed it? What if instead of being like, I have to appear perfect and completely unshakable,
right,
we just said, yeah, I'm a little nervous.
This is new for me.
This is a little scary.
Exactly. It's not about pretending it doesn't exist. It's just, how do we respond to it?
Right.
And, when you say that, when you're honest, you might connect with your audience even more.
Because we've all been there.
Oh, 100%. We've all been there.
And it makes you relatable. Speaking of human and relatable, that Medium article you sent really got me thinking about how we build up these walls to protect ourselves, especially in relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we don't want to get hurt,
right.
So we just shut down, close ourselves off.
It's that classic human self-preservation, right?
Yeah.
But the article's saying that those walls, as safe as they might feel in the moment, can really prevent us from experiencing deep connection.
Oh, for sure.
Real intimacy, which we all crave.
We do. It's like this weird tension.
Yeah.
Between the comfort of being alone and the risk of being hurt, but also really seen and known.
Totally. Which is where I think this idea of the inner idiot comes into play.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So the School of Life video, they were talking about how we all have these parts of ourselves that we try to keep hidden.
Yes.
Those insecurities, those fears that we think make us seem weak or foolish.
Oh, I know those inner idiots well.
Right. Like, they're so loud sometimes.
The worst.
Yeah.
Like, constantly second-guessing everything. Don't wear that. Don't say that,
Yes. That voice that's like, don't speak up in the meeting. You're going to sound
silly. The worst, right.
It's like, come on.
It's like they're trying to protect us or something.
Yeah.
But they just keep us, like, small.
Keep us stuck.
Yeah, exactly. Stuck. So how do we get out of that? How do we go from hiding those inner idiots to, I don't know, like embracing vulnerability?
Well, I think it starts with perspective, right?
Okay.
Instead of looking at those, what do we call them? Those undignified sides as like these weaknesses.
Yeah.
What if we looked at them as what makes us, well,
human,
relatable?
Yeah, totally. And that's where the School of Life, I feel like they had that really interesting twist.
Yeah.
Where they said sometimes like showing those imperfections can actually make you more endearing to other people.
100%. It breaks down those walls that we were talking about, and it lets us make, a genuine connection.
Yeah.
Let's be real. We all have those awkward moments, those insecurities, we all make mistakes. But when we can admit it, it makes it easier for other people to do the same.
Totally. It's like that feeling when you really look up to someone and they admit to like messing up.
Yeah.
You don't think less of them.
Right.
You relate to them more.
100%. It makes them, you said it makes them more human. And then that shared vulnerability
Yeah.
can be so bonding.
Yeah.
It builds trust, understanding.
Huge.
It is. But
Yeah.
we can't just go around oversharing with every single person we meet.
Oh, 100%. No, I'm glad you brought that up
Oh,
because I do think there's this like misconception sometimes that to be vulnerable, you have to just like spill all the tea all the time.
yeah, totally.
It's not about that.
No, it's about being discerning, right?
Yes. Thank you.
It's about choosing very specifically who we open up to and how much.
Totally. And remembering that I think Brene Brown said like vulnerability without boundaries is not vulnerability.
100%.
Right. Like you have to protect your heart, protect your energy.
That's like having that safe space
Yeah.
where okay, the
Yeah.
person on the other side of this, of this interaction, they've earned this right to see this part of me
Right.
because they've shown me that they're trustworthy,
Yes.
that they're empathetic, that they're respectful.
Exactly.
It's not selfish to set those boundaries, by the way.
Yeah.
It's self-care.
It's so important.
And it's
This has been eye-opening. Okay, so let's say, you're listening to this and you're like, all right, I want to try this whole vulnerability thing. Like I want to start practicing it personally, professionally, whatever. Where do you even start?
right. Like, how do you actually do that?
It can feel, I don't know, kind of overwhelming.
It's a process, right?
Yeah.
It's like any journey, it starts with a single step.
Right.
And sometimes that first step is just admitting, hey, you know what? I don't have all the answers,
Yeah.
which can be really tough, especially at work. Okay,
Oh, totally. Like there's that pressure to know
you
everything.
have it all figured out.
Yes. To
Yeah.
never, ever.
Never show weakness.
Weakness. Like God forbid.
And that's where I think the old school leadership mentality can really backfire.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Because if you're coming in with that don't show weakness attitude,
Yeah.
you create this culture where everybody is terrified of making a mistake.
Right.
So they don't take risks.
Right.
They don't want to share new ideas.
And then you get no innovation.
And the goodbye innovation.
Totally.
Because you can't have innovation without vulnerability.
Totally. Because to innovate, you have to be willing to experiment to
Yeah.
like
To fall flat on your face sometime.
100%.
It's messy.
It is. It's like Brene Brown said, it's messy.
Yeah.
But it's where all the good stuff comes from.
It's the birthplace of creativity, of change, all of it.
Yeah, and it has to start from the top.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if leaders aren't showing vulnerability,
yeah,
how can they expect their teams to?
exactly. But when leaders are willing to own your mistakes,
Yeah.
to ask for help,
Yeah.
to say, you know what, I don't know,
Right.
it gives everybody else permission to do the same.
It's huge.
It is. And that's when you get that trust.
Yes.
It makes those leaders seem more human, more relatable.
More like someone you'd actually want to follow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're not this perfect robot
Right.
who's like, up on this pedestal.
Totally. It's like that saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes.
And showing vulnerability is a way of showing you care.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
And it goes way beyond just the workplace too,
Oh,
right?
100%.
Like imagine just like the world.
Yeah.
If we all
Yeah.
felt a little bit safer being vulnerable,
It would change everything.
it would change everything
Yeah.
because we'd be able to connect on a deeper level.
Yes.
You can support each other better.
Right.
And we could create some really amazing things together.
That's the dream right there. Okay, so as we're wrapping up this deep dive on vulnerability,
Yes.
what's the one thing you want our listener to take away from this whole conversation?
I would say just remember that vulnerability, it's not the opposite of strength. It's how you get there.
Oh, I love that.
Right. It's the key to, those deeper connections, being more authentic, living a more fulfilling life, like both personally and professionally. It's everything.
So good. I love it. All right, folks, embrace that vulnerability. It's not always easy, but man, is it worth it?
Couldn't agree more. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep.
And we will be back next time with another deep dive.